I have control. I have control. Ready, ready, ready.
It's not an exact science because it's dangerous work. We've had a lot of very violent encounters with a lot of very violent criminals, and we've all come home safely.
Team's all in, sit rep.
That's largely been because of the advanced training that we do several times a month.
What's up? Team's code 4.
We want to continue that track record, so we come home safe every night.
A lot better.
My name's John Norris, and I'm a Fish and Game Lieutenant with California Department of Fish and Wildlife. I oversee our Special Operations Marijuana Enforcement Team. Basically, our department's SWAT or tactical team statewide. The Marijuana Enforcement Team is a very new, very progressive concept for the Department of Fish and Wildlife's game wardens. I grew up hunting and fishing my entire life. My dad was an avid waterfowl and big game hunter. Generationally, I was educated on conservation from a very early age. Being a fish and game warden was kind of a dream that I discovered when I was in college. I started my career with the idea that I would do traditional game warden type work. I wanted to catch guys that were poaching deer at night illegally and spotlighting, or taking too many fish, or poisoning creeks, teach hunter education. And then in 2004, I found my first marijuana garden here in the Silicon Valley. I climbed into the canyon and saw where the water diversion was, and saw the check dam they had built, and saw the multiple visqueen-lined, plastic-lined pools that they had taken this headwater to a steelhead channel and just stopped the flow. And I saw what it led to. I saw 2 armed growers. It was the first time that I realized that the drug cartel element was as pervasive as any problem we have as far as crime goes in California. We see a lot of prohibited pesticides and fertilizers that aren't even allowed to be used in this country because they're so toxic. A couple tablespoons of that type of product can decimate a creek and pollute that water and kill everything that drinks from it. And it took 2 years to get the water quality back just from that one site that we found that year. This wasn't that deep into the mountains. It was only a couple miles up a canyon where people hike and people recreate and people fish. And it was just one of many thousand grows that are set up throughout the state this way by the same organizations. The type of criminals we deal with that are responsible for these gardens are extremely violent. They're usually armed. Our team, since 2005, have been involved in 5 gunfights. Because of the dangers that we face going after these guys and what the public might experience if they run across these criminals, we needed to take our training to a higher level, more on par with a military special operations team or a law enforcement SWAT team. I supervise about an 11-man team statewide, including a K9 on that team. The advent of K9s has been a godsend. Phebe, our K9, probably the most effective K9 we've seen in the whole country. 5 or 6 officer-involved shootings were prevented just by having that K9 on board.
Dogs away.
And allowing it to be a non-deadly outcome, which is always a good thing. Canine training, it's an evolving science. We train on the firing range just like we're doing an apprehension. We have people in bite suits. Phoebe has to identify the suspect. We have to be right behind that dog to support her. And we have to do it repetitively to get down the muscle memory and the exposure to how it might go down in the field.
Watch him. Watch him. Get on the ground or I'm gonna send that dog all the way and you're gonna go to the hospital. Al suelo.
Phoebe's 11 years old now, which is the very outer limits of a canine's career. And during that time, she's had 114 bite apprehensions. That's protected the team, but it has saved many more hundreds of lives as a result of the work Brian and Phoebe have done together. Once MET was formed, we definitely developed the need and saw the need to have some precision rifle capability. Now we have 6 snipers on the team, and everybody's very capable at close range like we are on the MET team, and also out to 500, 600, 700 yards and further if we need to be. Because we're an outdoor team and we have to hike very far, we train that way. Our sniper training is some of the most challenging and physically demanding and honestly exhausting training sessions we have on the MET team. Typical sniper training day is about 6 hours. It always starts with some sort of physically challenging run with your heart rate up, and then end up on the ground to make a precision shot or several. We do a lot of fieldcraft work, which is stalking, just like a hunter stalking into an animal without getting detected or ever being seen. Us as snipers have to do that in and out, or we're gonna compromise the mission and we're gonna get ourselves hurt. So fieldcraft, the type of camo we wear, how we move, how our equipment is set up. That's 90% of the challenge of being a sniper. Making a precision shot is one thing, but that's the easiest part of training, honestly, is learning how to shoot well. Learning how to do everything in order to make that well-placed shot is the hard part of training. We know if we make that shot, it absolutely stops a threat and stops that person from shooting somebody else, holding a child hostage if it's terrorism, and it just makes us that much more prepared for the next time something similar to that situation occurs. This team is very lucky to train as much, if not more so, than many other teams are able to do in their agencies. We now have 3 helicopters, and several of our airplane pilots are now trained helicopter pilots. Helicopters are a key component to this type of special operations work. They can hoist us in and out. They can cover us for security from above ground if we're dealing with threats down on the ground. Helicopters give us the opportunity to short haul, where 2 of us can be suspended on a long line under the bird and fly up to 5 miles. It's really good on us physically and obviously for our safety and to get us recovered quicker. We could use air support on every mission, and we could be flying every day of the summer. And we just don't have enough time or enough assets for every agency out there doing it. And they're nice to have, especially if something does go wrong. Or in the case in 2005, where one of my partner officers was shot through both legs by an AK-47. If it hadn't been for a helicopter team to come in and do an air rescue, he probably would not have survived that ordeal. And if we do have another violent encounter like that, where, God forbid, one of us is shot again or injured, we're gonna need a helicopter extract from that location, and we need to get to help quickly. And that's where those helicopters are just invaluable. One of the biggest components of what we do on every mission we're part of is environmental restoration or reclamation. The biggest and most direct impact is our waterways. Water is diverted right at the headwaters of pristine streams that feed drinking water sources in the valleys below for our public. And it would take countless hours to even clean up one grow site that would take many, many days and many, many hours. Whereas with the helicopter, we can load net after net after net and take out a massive grow site and completely sanitize and clean the environmental damage up in a couple of hours. A big part of doing this job of catching bad guys and restoring the environment and protecting wildlife needs to be the outreach of sending the message, because we can do all this great work, but if we're not reaching the most amount of people as possible, we've undermined the mission. Sportsmen are vital to solving this problem. We're only 400 game wardens, and we're only 10 or 11 on a statewide marijuana enforcement team. But for all the thousands of sportsmen that are out there and might run across a grow like this, it's really critical that they report it right away, that they know how to get out of the situation safely, not to make a lot of noise, use their stalking and quiet hunting skills to get out. to take a picture of it, get a GPS coordinate if they can, remember where to mark it on a map, and definitely call us right away when they get out of the woods. One, so we can go handle the problem and keep it safe for the public, but also to stop the environmental devastation that's going on every minute that we don't deal with it. If sportsmen don't report this stuff, we're not even going to be able to put a dent in it. I want my nieces and nephews, I want my friends' kids and grandkids to be able to see what's out there that California has to offer. And we have some amazing wildlife and amazing pristine areas that are just beautiful. Anybody that's a conservationist and cares about our resources out there, whether they hunt and fish or not, we're all in this together and we have to handle it that way, and that's why it's so important. Looking back, this has been the career I was supposed to have. If I had not met a game warden in a very remote area in the middle of a winter break on a backcountry horse trip, I probably wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with you today, and that would be a shame. Definitely was drawn to this for all the right reasons, and I've never looked back. And it's been an amazing journey, and I've worked with the best people I could ever ask to work around, family members, a brotherhood of wardens, and it's been really fun to do something that we haven't done before that betters the department, protects the resource in a better way. As long as I can stay challenged to the end of the day and be effective out there, we'll keep going harder and harder till it's done.